What can I do to be glamorous?
Welcome to
Sexy Suburban Sadness.
This is an amazing band called Myriam Adams. They're kind of halfway between Birmingham and Hereford and Worcester.
This is Myriam Adams.
If you don't like this again, you're a wanker.
It's definitely one of the most surreal listens that I've had this year.
So I feel like that's iconic because no one does those things, you know?
Quality of the musicianship, the lyrical content, and just the artistic integrity behind the music that they put out.
Fire.
Somebody is making so much fucking noise.
Myriam Adams.
Will go down in history as one of our greatest entertainers.
I love you.
It was inspiring to me.
Give it a listen. This is, again, my EP of the year. I mean, it's freaking consistent, front-to-back bangers.
So unique, so original, so rare.
So we are talking with the lovely Myriam Adams today about their new EP, Sexy Suburban Sadness.
Sexy Suburban Sadness, coming out on all stores on the 13th of January 2021.
I think this video might be out by the time
It was out the other day, Sexy Suburban Sadness. It was out the other day.
Wow.
Woo! It's been 2 days, so we're millionaires now. Yeah. We're living in LA. Yeah. 2 days after the release, we already booked tickets in advance. Yeah, we're going to LA. They've actually, Kanye contacted us to curl up. We said no. Do you know who we are? Yeah. Sexy Suburban Sadness was a pretty big deal. They opened up the borders.
You didn't tell me about that.
It's not happened yet, Archie. It's not happened. It's going to happen.
Should we kick it off with just a quick fire question? Could you guys individually describe each song in 3 words?
Okay, individually as in,
one song
individually all together, or whichever one you guys want.
Or you could all give one word each, and you can't use anger, cute to describe anger, cute before you think you're funny.
Anger, cute.
Oh my god! I'm so fucking pissed off!
So I'll do the first word. Angry.
That's a good one.
Furious.
Climactic. Is that a word?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Go for that one.
Angry, furious, climactic. Babe. Sexy. No. I would describe. Yeah. If any song was going to be described by what the title of the EP, that'd probably be Babes. Yeah. So sexy, suburban.
It's just sadness.
Whoa!
Then best nude.
I hope you know it.
Oh, someone else start with this one. Go.
Flirty.
Yeah, flirty. Poppy. Chill. Yeah, chill. 40.
Why you gotta start like that?
Country. Archie.
Tetley.
What?
Tetley.
Like the
Tetley.
tea.
Like the tea.
And sad. And then the last one.
Ooh.
Huggy hugs.
Energetic.
Young. Alive. Fantastic.
So there's a quick little feel of the EP for everyone who hasn't listened to it yet. Each track that we go through on this EP does sound quite different from the last, which is a familiar kind of concept that I've noticed through Myriam Adams. But what I've noticed is there is more like electric kind of sound throughout this EP. Is there any particular reason why you've decided to introduce it?
Just purely with the second EP, so God Bless the Teens, we kind of established a sound, well, in our minds that was very, I don't know, we just established a sound, or we felt comfortable with the sound, and then we thought, we're a bit bored of this now. Let's just try and kind of push the boat out in as much as we can in like every song, and just have, really, we just basically for each song, we had like a few songs or a genre as a reference, and we thought, yeah, I really like this about this song or this genre or this album, and we kind of thought, let's kind of not copy it, but take influence from it. So
there's a list of all songs to copy in this EP.
Yeah, so but yeah, so I think really it's just kind of coincidence that it's more electronic. To be honest, this last song is probably the most kind of indie / rock band song on the EP.
Is there any like particular songs and genres that you can notice quite obviously throughout this EP that you can mention?
Yes, definitely. Gonna have to have a think, but yes. Well, we can. Let's think of the last song. What's that song?
Sort of like pop punk.
Yeah, but what was that song that we?
Oh, what? Damn It.
Damn It by
Damn It.
Damn It by Blink 182. That was a big one for the last song on the EP. I don't know. There's a ton of songs. To be fair, we could probably make a list, but it's just like about 40, 50 songs.
Yeah, 40, 50. It's condensed.
There's a lot of very simple pop stuff in a way. I don't know, I'm very into this guy called Harry Teardrop. He's not huge, but I don't know, he's kind of like, he's from the States somewhere, and he's just like pop, but then it's very influenced by like noughties kind of pop punk, and there's a lot of like very cheesy Americanness to it, and like Jesse Rutherford. It's all like very, I don't know, one of the lyrics in Porty is, I wish I was hotter. It's not really trying to be, I think the second EP was definitely trying to be very, very deep and very like, oh, we can write interesting lyrics. And now it's just very simple, but I think honest. Yeah.
So in terms of like when you're releasing the singles, they all started to come out kind of post coronavirus, didn't they? So
yes.
When was the first one released again?
End of August.
End of August. So could you guys just talk us through what the process has been like, kind of if you've written or if you've recorded like during the pandemic? Like what's that been like for you guys?
It's been interesting. It's been definitely complicated because Fred and I, we live together, and then Archie lives on his own, well, with his family, and Ethan lives with his family, but so we've been kind of separate. Luckily, after the first lockdown, we were able to kind of meet up again. I think the weird thing was having already like this concept of an EP that was developed over lockdown. And then you realise that when you actually meet up again and start talking about things that you haven't spoken about the ideas with as a band, do you know what I mean? Because I think, usually we were used to college and we kind of would all meet every day, so it'd be like this constant conversation that we didn't even have to think about. Like we didn't have to think, oh, we've come up with this idea, let's make sure that we tell someone else. I think, I don't know, from all of our, like, it's been a weird one, but I don't know, Archie, do you want to add?
I don't know, it's been weird, it has been hard, but I guess we've done a lot more focus on production than we normally would have. Because we haven't had access to the live instruments as much. That's probably why we've gone for that more electro poppy kind of sound.
Yeah.
Because we haven't actually had the experience of writing a song as a band. It has been very online.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of, that's definitely a good point, I reckon. And it's all been very kind of sending things backwards and forwards. I mean, we were lucky, obviously, there was, over the summer, we were able to meet quite a lot. But yeah, there was a lot of, the recording process kind of happened. The writing process was already kind of done at that point. That was when we kind of focused mainly on actually getting things recorded and produced. That took a long time. In a weird one. We were going to release the whole EP before the end of the year, because we had like a few socially distant shows planned and just get it all done before the end of the year. We kind of wanted this experience of writing the EP and releasing it straight after, so it's not like this massive gap that we get bored of the songs before we release it. That's definitely happened to us, like in past EPs. But yeah, we kind of, when we went into another lockdown in November, we thought we'd be better off kind of postponing until now.
So Archie touched on this a little bit, but when it came to actually recording the EP, how exactly did you do that? Because obviously it was hard to get access to the studios at the moment, and when it came to producing it and everything, how did you work through that together, not being together at the time?
It was all recorded in a garage, Freddie's family's garage, with our friend Rajan, which is our producer. He's got his own music out, by the way. I think everyone should check it out. He's insanely talented, to be fair. He is basically part of the band in the way of, like, I don't know, he's part of the process of making the songs what they are, and it's kind of making them from like a really shitty demo that we think is like, oh yeah, got all these cool ideas, but then he makes them actually make sense. And yeah, all recorded in a garage. There's a lot of kind of trying to be together as much as possible, just for mainly like listening and kind of just agreeing on or disagreeing on whether we should change stuff. Or it's all been a bit messy, but at the same time, I don't know, I think the recording part was probably the easiest in a way, just because it is something you can kind of structure out, like having certain people in one day. You know, Rajan could work on his own sometimes, and sometimes it'd be better if we were all there to kind of record stuff or just give feedback and just kind of, I don't know, it's just I've kind of rambling. What?
I think I don't know, in a way, I think having lockdown tried to make recordings definitely count, like recording sessions.
Yeah,
you've got to just get in there, record,
and then leave. That's true.
It's usually we stay for a bit, you know,
that's
before
true.
pre-lockdown, and now it's like very on the.
When we're together, we need to make most of the time.
So can you talk us through a couple of your campaign kind of strategies? Because you've got a couple of interesting things that we've seen. You've got this, I don't know if it's anything to do particularly with Sex's Brother, but you've got this whole like Julio character.
Yeah.
And then you've also got this video that was released upon the announcement of the EP, where it had like Barack Obama and stuff in it. Where did these ideas come from? And can you explain just more about that?
Definitely. I think Julio, right, was, I'd say Best Nude is kind of the song on the EP. It kind of is meant to be a bit of an identity crisis itself. Like, the actual song sounds a lot more in our heads like our previous EP than any of the other songs. And it's kind of like, it is kind of a song that, looking back on it once we'd written it and produced it, it kind of feels a bit like we actually, I still love it as a song, but what I mean is like we listened a bit too much to what people had to say. And like I could definitely remember when writing it, like even the trying to write about things that I didn't necessarily feel was very weird. And I think the whole thing with Julio as well, might as well make it like a really, obviously kind of an alternate version of it. And it's like the idea was, we're gonna try and dress up as a really bad version of The Cure, like a really B-Tech version of The Cure, because I think that's an obvious inspiration, like with our image and stuff. So what we're gonna do is really like that identity crisis is going to be, okay, we need to look cooler or whatever, and obviously by trying to look cooler, you don't look cooler. So do you know what I mean? It's like obviously, and then we kind of decided to. I don't know. It was this idea, and I mean, it's not the last people will see of Julio. I'm sure he's his own little thing. Every time that we have a little identity crisis, I'm sure he'll be back.
Cool.
And then the introduction to Sexy Suburban Sadness. The kind of underlying thing is we're trying to. The whole EP is about glamorizing the suburbs, which is a very mundane, boring place. And the idea is really like we're glamorizing it, and it's kind of meant to be like Hollywood, but not Hollywood. Do you know what I mean? Like it's meant to be a really shitty version of Hollywood, where, you know, we want to make it seem this really cool and sexy and glamorous place in reality, all the videos we're recording, it's in a garage or in the back garden, or do you know what I mean? It's all very mundane, but so we wanted to
listen to a lot of Midwest humour.
Oh yeah, that's also big. But yeah, so the idea was just trying to make it, get loads of famous people and do like a really bad montage of them saying how how great we are and how the EP is amazing.
So with Julio, do you think there's any chance of any music coming out under his name in particular?
You never know. You never know. Maybe in the future. I think all his videos, except for the actual music videos, all the videos are Julio. They're him. They're not really. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just let him do. We let him do what he wants.
Yeah, he
just comes in. He's a weird man, to be honest.
Yeah. He just comes in, causes stuff, and then gets out as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
he's a very strange creature.
He is, but I don't know. Maybe I can't imagine him releasing. I think he's very much part of. He'll be back one day.
One day.
One day.
Can you say that?
So, this is a slightly longer question, so just bear with me for a second. But I was recently reading this book called Our Band Could Be Your Life by Michael Azira, and one of the bands in the books brought up a comment about how they don't go on tour to promote their album or EP, they more create the music to promote their tours. And it kind of emphasises the concept of live bands. And through speaking to people about your live shows and seeing videos of your live shows, because I've not seen you personally live yet, you very much seem like kind of being on stage is a big part of Myriam Adams. Yes. Would you say that this kind of comment about making the music to promote your live shows is a case with you guys, or how would you kind of expect it to be in music in general?
I'd definitely say it's always, when you're making a song, it's always in the back of your mind how it's gonna kind of, you want big bits, but then I guess there's phases for us, and there's the phase of actual songwriting where we're not really doing too much in the eye of the public, just focusing on doing our own stuff and the recording stuff. And then there's a phase of marketing, which is getting everything that we've created and we think is sick and thinking, how can we present it to people? And then there's the phase of preparing for the live show. So all of this, how are we going to make it an experience? And I mean, we've always been, I don't know, ever since we started, it's always been the most exciting bit, really, live shows. I think just because it's the most exciting bit, that's what's always going to kind of we want to make it an interesting show, and just in a way, yeah, I kind of stand by that statement of making music to promote the live shows. At the same time, I don't know, obviously because this EP was made during a pandemic, being less of a
live thing,
yeah.
Yeah, I think with a lot of the tracks on the EP, there is still kind of that build up and then that drop, so that there is the opportunity for when you do perform live for the crowd to kind of get into a mosh pit and kind of start going crazy. So that is also something that I've noticed in a lot of your music prior as well. So is that something that is just kind of like a subconscious thing that comes into your music, or do you aim to kind of create that to get the atmosphere when you perform live?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I think it is just, especially if you're practicing stuff with a band. If it doesn't sound, if you're not feeling it, I think that's the main thing. Like, if we're feeling it, then usually I think that's probably translates to it being okay live. If we're kind of thinking, oh, this part feels really good. Like, I don't know. There's definitely the intention of making live shows even bigger than what they could be, and making them as impressive as we can. But then there's always, I think we definitely enjoy the process of rehearsing. Sometimes involves a lot of us practicing not only how it's going to sound, but also, I don't know, subconsciously, I definitely think we like to put on a show in the garage sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, so touching back on the EP, were there any kind of moments that you can remember, or was it like a whole kind of going through the motions of, was there a particular point where you realised you wanted to make this EP? Was there a particular motivation where you woke up one day and thought, I'm going to write an EP? Or was it kind of like I think we want to do this, I think we want to do that? Was it kind of...
It was a lot of ideas, and it went... and it all came together. No, but the first song, so Babe was actually the first song written, and I think that's around the time that the title...
Best in it was Best in it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, but we didn't think we were going to use Best in it. But Babe was the first song written that came along with the idea of Sexy Suburban Sadness. And that song is, I mean, for a while we didn't know what we were going to call it, and think we were going to call it Sexy Suburban Sadness, or that was an idea. But yeah, it was all just in the end from that song forward, that was written probably in Feb last year, so nearly a year ago. Then all the other songs were written, and the ones that sounded like part of it were the ones that stayed. The other ones, don't talk about them.
Was there any particular reason? Obviously, you've like explained what the EP is about, but like, how did you come up with the name Sexy Suburban Sadness? Personally, it's one of the best EP names I've heard of, to be fair. I love it. Great title.
Wow, that's an interesting story. We were watching a review by Anthony Fantano, and he was reviewing an album at the time. We thought, wow, I still think it's a good album. It's The Neighbourhood's self-titled album, and he said it wasn't a very good review, and he said, oh, it's just like this 1 hour of sexy suburbanite sadness, and it's not very good. And we thought, that's a good title for the EP. That's literally where it was taken from.
Some sexy suburban sadness.
But we did get it wrong. Instead of calling it Sexy Suburbanite Sadness, we called it Sexy
Suburban.
But by accident. Yeah. We would have called it Sexy Suburbanite Sadness, but it's done now.
What would each of you say is your favourite track off this EP and why?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Anger, cute. I think it's my
favourite. Why?
Was that your one?
Yeah, but you have different reasons why. What's the different reasons why?
I just like how both of them work together and how it goes into both sections of the song. And how it's quite short. I like short songs, and it's all in your face. And it just gets over and done with, it's great.
Archie? Should I go?
You go. Go on.
I'll go. My favourite song, it's difficult. I have to say I do love all the songs a lot, but I'm going to have to say Hugs, the last track on the EP, because it's like, it feels very much like we're trying less hard to experiment in a way. Just feels a bit more natural and a bit angstier, and I think I've always got a soft spot for angsty indie rock stuff, so that's definitely my favourite, I'd say. Archie?
I'm actually going to go with Paul T,
Wow.
I love Paul T. I don't know, it's just the vibe of it, and just being able to chill there, and the drums. I just love the production of it, really. The production, it's just like my favourite you've done so far.
I like T as much as the next guy. I wouldn't write a song about it.
It's a funny joke we've been doing.
So, do you guys have, like, individually any really, really notable lyrics that kind of you wrote it down and, like, you're never going to forget that because it's kind of like it just jumps out at you?
Probably. Let me think. I mean, I can't really forget because I'm singing them, so I can't really forget any of the lyrics. But
I'm just like that. And angry and cute.
Which one?
The bit where it's like, take me. You just can't really hear what he's saying. Oh, that one. Yeah.
I'd say being mental is a brand new kind of cute. I quite like that one.
That's a good lyric.
What else? I think also Oh the Things I Do Por Ti, which is quite a sweet, because it's really, well, Oh the Things I Do For You, but then it sounds a bit less cringe because it's in Spanish. So I quite like that. It's just cute, I think.
Is it anger?
No, it's just cute.
Just cute.
So I think we're going to wrap it there. Is there any final points that you guys want to put out there about the EP in particular, just for everyone to know that we haven't touched on?
Yes, there's two things actually. I don't know when this is going to be released, but 15th of January, music video for Hugs will be premiered at 7 p.m. And this is a huge one actually. I don't know if it might not go ahead because of COVID, but I think it will because broadcasts are allowed or something like that. But yeah, if it doesn't go through, you can just cut it out. But if it does, then this is important. 9th of Feb, we will be doing a live stream of the EP and some other songs, older songs, recorded from London with Hot Fox. And yeah, it's properly recorded in a studio, and it's the closest we're going to have to doing a big show that we've had in over a year, and I don't know for how much longer. So yeah, that's going to be an important one. Yeah, that's it really. Anything else, Archie?
Listen to Sexy Suburban Sadness.
Sadness.
Didn't actually say that, did we?
Listen to it.
So where can everybody find you on social media? Once the EP is released, where can they get it? Where can they find it? Where can they stream it?
Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, YouTube,
our website.
Myriam Adams.
Our website. We will have some new merch coming soon. And yeah, just amazing to be alive. I can't do a heart, but much love.
Do it with these. It's so much easier.
That's so awkward.
Much love.
Oh my god, no! It's so like pixely, like like God bless the teams, not the team.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Wait, this is your gang sign?
Oh, gang sign.
No way.
Yeah, it is. But this
what
is
are you doing, Freddie? That is not the right gang sign.
Is it not? Look at much love to all of you. Much love. Much love.
So much love. Okay, yeah, that's everything from us then. So
hopefully Ethan's alive, but just check on him.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's just. I don't know what he's doing, to be honest. Bye bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Have a good day. Thank you for.
You too. Bye.
Thank you, guys.